Welcome to another episode of Road to Recovery with your host, with your boy, with your grown ass man, Recovery Lord. And before I get into today's group, I want to shout out my dad. Shout out Michael Lewis. I seen you in the comments. Been giving me good feedback from day one. Dad, I'm proud. I'm glad that I hope I'm making you proud. And I'm glad to see that you dialed in and tuned in with me on this. I wanted to share something that I purchased because I be hearing all the sad stories. And so when I go to work tomorrow and people like, yeah, Mr. Recovery Lord, Mr. Mason, I've been trying, man, and I'm gonna hit him with the try. I love this. I love this little thing. Like, yeah, I've been meaning to come up. I had lost my bottle, so I tried to get him to I love it. I love it. So, welcome to another episode of Road to Recovery, where we do topics and we keep people focused on their recovery effort. Hopefully, that's what we're doing. I believe that's what we're doing. I appreciate all the feedback that I get. Shout out to my little brother Zachary, who shared some good news with me over the weekend. I want you to know I'm proud of you and that I love you. Keep up the good work, man. So like I did a group last week, before we got into today's group information, I asked some questions, some group questions. And the first question that I would like to ask for this group is, what do I need more of in my life? What do you need more of right now in your life? Hopefully it's peace and quiet, peace of mind. Maybe you want to better your health. Maybe you want to further your education. Maybe you want to get your finances together. Whatever you feel like you need and would like and want more of in your life, don't wait. Make it happen. Make it happen now. So the first question is, what do I need more of in my life? The second question is, what does success mean to me? See, we may know what success could mean to, your probation officer. That's you staying out of trouble and not having any issues. We may know what people who want to hold your card and stuff like success to them might be, you giving them the card like you normally do, falling in compliance, doing the stuff you normally do. Some people, honestly, if you let success be determined by other people, they'll say your success is you not letting go of your addiction. And y'all going to use again. And y'all going to the bar and stuff again. So it's important for you to determine what success means to you as a person, specifically. What does that look like? 3, what beliefs are holding you back from living your best life? What is it that you're holding on to that you feel is a core belief of yours that's holding you back from being the best version of yourself? For me, a long time, what was holding me back was thinking that what I've been through and all my trauma and drama was what made me who I am. Not, that's what I made it through. I'm someone else, and that's the stuff I made it through. I looked at it as the bad stuff and the sad, the hard luck hill stuff and the Antoine Fisher stuff that I grew up on. That's what made me. And that's not what made me. That's what I made it through. Difference. So what are you holding on to? What beliefs are you holding on to that's holding you back? Good question to ask yourself. 4, What advice would I give to my younger self? If you could go back and, what advice would you give yourself 10 years ago, 15 years ago? What advice would you give your son and your daughter to make sure they may not follow some of the footsteps that you've done, that you've made? What advice are you willing to give people to help them avoid some of the pain and suffering that you may have went through and experienced? What advice would I give my younger self? To never to walk in any man's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest. I sound like Sexual Chocolate. Love of all. Number 5. What do I want my legacy to be? What do you want what do you want to be remembered for? Me, I want to be remembered that I was one of them ones that despite whatever I've been through, that I always had a bounce back in me, that I never gave up, that I figured things out, that I finally hit the right buttons, that I left an example for my children, for my family and friends to be proud of, to be proud of me about. That's what I want my What do you want your legacy to be? That that you persevered, that you figured some things out, that, like I said last week, you might have gave up 50%, 75, even 90, but you ain't never give up 100%. Is that your legacy? Is your legacy that not only are you going to get so strong, you're going to go back and try to help others? That's a slick legacy, man. Let's do it. If a mind is that powerful, then envision yourself winning. Envision your victory. Envision your triumph. So what do I want to speak about today? The 7 honest reasons why addicts lie. One of my favorite groups. I've done this group multiple times and it never fails. It's a pretty good group. So I like to do it for the first time virtually if you guys don't mind. So 7 honest reasons why addicts lie. Addicts tell lies more often than they tell the truth. I'm not hurting anyone. I can stop at any time. Deception becomes so second nature, addicts will lie even when it's just as easy to tell the truth. Many don't even realize they're fibbing or that other people see through their facade. Living a double life is exhausting. So why do addicts lie? Living one life now in 2026 is exhausting. So I can imagine somebody trying to live a double life or a triple life. You one person over East Baltimore, you another person over West, then Cherry Hill get a whole another version of you. That's ridiculous. And you never, that's a pattern for failure, not success. So I know we already got our stuff to take notes. I already know that. So that's why I try not to bring that up. So the first reason that addicts lie is to preserve their addiction. An addict will do whatever is necessary to maintain their addiction. If they acknowledge the seriousness of the problem or the harm they're causing themselves and others, they would be hard-pressed to continue this way of life. Their logic, whether conscious or unconscious, is, I need drugs and I need lies to keep people off my back so I can keep using them. Thus, lying becomes a matter of self-preservation. Anything or anyone that is going to hinder their drug habit has no place in the addict's life. especially when they making shows like Power. And the whole premise of the show is manipulation and finessing. And then 50 cents, well, what can we expect? Well, how much value can we expect out of a guy named 50 Cent? And everything is about finessing, manipulating, and lying. And it's called Power. So some people think that the better liar they are, and the better they can weave stories, the better storyteller they are, the more powerful they are. When if you are a certain age, like I am, as you can see, true alphas, and powerful people, they don't lie. They tell you straight up, I don't care if that's yours, I'm taking it from you. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. Punks jump up to get beat down. That's what they're gonna tell you. So the fact that you manipulating, finessing, and lying, it should be an indication that you're not as powerful as you think you are. Because all lies and all manipulations eventually get exposed. And that's a sad day. The saddest day in the addict's life, or somebody who drink every day, is when people don't not even believe your bullshit, but they don't even want to hear it anymore. They won't even let you get the lies out anymore. That's how done they are. So the first reason addicts and alcoholics lie is to preserve their addiction. The second reason is to avoid facing reality. Addiction recognizes the addict's world and consumes their identity so that the person becomes unrecognizable to themselves and others. Since the truth is too painful to face, the addict constructs an alternate reality where drugs and alcohol aren't the problem. And the addict is doing exactly what other people want and hope for them. They say they've been clean for weeks, when in truth, they just got high a few hours ago. They say they landed a great new job, when actuality, they just got fired. And when you are saying good things, when you speaking a good life, and that's what they say, that's faking it till you make it. And you saying some good shit. Yeah, man, I just applied and I'm waiting to hear them call back. Whole time, not only did you not apply, you ain't even leave the house yet. When you constantly doing that, and when you're describing a life better than the one you're living through yip yapping and flip flapping, you become a contradiction. And being a contradiction hurts you. But it'll hurt you more than the people around you. Because before you lie to somebody else, who do you have to lie to? Where is that? Oh, where this thing at? Oh man, I need a production assistant. Before you lie to somebody else, you gotta lie to yourself. Number 3, to avoid confrontation. Loved ones rarely sit idly. As an addict self-destructs, they ask questions, get angry, and inevitably wonder, if you love me, why do you keep making choices that hurt me? The stress of interpersonal conflict can be overwhelming for an addict. Without mature coping skills, addicts may do or say whatever it takes to avoid that disappointment. Look in their loved one's eyes, or the contemptuous tone in their voice, or they may become increasingly defensive, dishing out complaints of their own in an attempt to draw attention away from their addiction and towards other person's vulnerabilities. So you don't want to go out always mad, always pointing out what somebody else is doing wrong. In my experience, when people are doing that, they are looking for justifications why it's okay for them to get high. Because look at what I got to deal with the person I'm in a relationship with. They keep doing this. They hide money. They being petty. They throwing away food, knowing all these people out here hungry. And they saying all this stuff about what somebody else is doing. One, to take the attention off of them. And two, to justify why it seems okay for them to use again. Look at all the shit they going through. Another thing this points out is interpersonal conflict. So we know interpersonal is how you deal with your family, how you deal with your children, how you deal with your coworkers, how you deal with your wife, how you deal with your husband. That's called interpersonal. Intrapersonal is how you talk to yourself when no one's around. How you view yourself. Your self-talk. Number 4, they're in denial. Even in the face of overwhelming evidence to the contrary, denial compels the addict to disavow their problem and ignore the consequences of their behavior. Although denial can serve a valuable protective function, allowing people to process information and come to terms with it, in addiction, denial can become pervasive. For example, addicts may truly believe that their family and friends have become the enemy, or that their addiction is not only an acceptable, but a necessary part of their life. The disease uses denial and other sophisticated defenses such as rationalization, projection, and intellectualization to ensure its survival. And yes, your addiction can hijack your intelligence. So, that's a tough place to be in. We got to get a hold of this so we're not completely consumed by this. Now it's rationalization, projection, intellectualization, anxiety, depression. But we know 50 and 100 years ago, all these was just demons. And people need to fight them and get the best of them. Make a pack out your demons. Number 5, the 5th reason why addicts lie is they believe they're different. Ooh, I'm different. If the addict acknowledges that drugs and alcohol have become a problem, but wants to continue using, they must convince themselves that they are the exception to the rule. The delusion that I'm not like other people, I can handle this, allows the addict to live outside normal standards of behavior. When you're sitting thinking all these consequences are for someone else. Because, I'm half Native American, so I got a high tolerance. Or I'm Irish. Or, them overdoses and all that, I break the pill up. I know what I'm doing. Not only that, I said this in a group before, but a lot of times we think an addict is trying to sell cheeseburgers or a menace to society. Or, an alcoholic is, what's the guy that was on A Living Color when he had the pickles in the jar and all that? He was doing all this. And if it don't look like that, then it's not an alcoholic. Or if it don't look like you trying to sell cheeseburgers, you're not a drug addict. Or you don't look like Pookie from New Jack City. And as long as you could look out the front window and see a car, you must got your shit together. And that can be furthest from the truth. Stop believing that you're different and acknowledge that you have been in God's grace. But he also helps people who help themselves. So you can't make it. You can't make your guardian angel's job hard as ever. They gotta protect you every 5 and 10 minutes. Number 6, they feel ashamed. In sober moments, addicts may feel extreme shame, embarrassment, and regret, unable to work through these emotions Addicts cope in the only way they know, by using more or drinking more to keep up appearances. They paint a picture of themselves to others that is far more flattering than the reality. And you want your words to match reality. Again, that's the point I made already. Number 7, which should be number 1. The 7th reason addicts lie is because they can. Sometimes friends and family match the addict's denial with an unhealthy dose of their own. They turn a blind eye to worrisome behaviors and make excuses for the addict because the truth is simply too painful, or they've tolerated as much suffering as they can bear. Loved ones who ignore, enable, or rescue send a message that lying is acceptable, thus perpetuating the addiction. It's time for no more lies. Lies are the root cause of the isolation most addicts experience, as well as the anger and the disillusionment loved ones often feel. While loved ones can't force an addict out of denial, there are steps they can take to illuminate the realities. Recognize that lies fulfill a purpose for the addict and are not a personal affront. As frustrating as they can be, lies are a common part of the disease. While it is important to understand the purpose of the lies, it's equally important to push past them. The lies are keeping your loved ones trapped. In some cases, addicts are forced to face reality by hitting rock bottom, but loved ones can help raise the bottom. You can stage an intervention. I've seen the interventions: refusing to enable or rescue, contact a treatment program, a counselor. I need to put my personal, what I'm going to start doing is maybe doing some consultations. That's another way, I might be able to help people in their recovery. If you catch the addict in a lie, don't look the other way. Letting them know what you see will help them face the consequences of their addiction. Create a supportive environment that facilitates honesty rather than engaging in power struggles or making threats. The lying will stop when the addict feels safe telling the truth and has the support they need to get well. Encourage involvement in support groups like Alcoholics Anonymous, which replace the automatic responses, lies, with rigorous honesty and making amends. In these groups, peers hold addicts accountable for their lies and encourage them to face the unpleasant truth about themselves without shame or blame. It's true, addicts lie. And while the lies can't be ignored, they are actually a distraction from the real problem, the underlying issues that contribute to addiction, and a diversion from the solution, finding a path to recovery. Only by breaking through denial and seeing the truth can the addict begin to heal. Drinking every day is not helping you get by. It's a pacifier in a way. And it's one that could be detrimental to your mental health and your physical health and your finances. So it's a coping skill, but it's a negative one if it's putting all that stuff on the line. Get better. Get better. Get more rest. Exercise more. And you know what? Just walk. Walking is exercise. I went to the doctor today. I got good news. My leg is recovering well. I got a new brace. And you know what I'm going to start doing? Even though walking swells my foot up a little bit and I'm walking with a cane, I'm going to keep getting those steps in. I'm not going to overdo it, but I'm going to keep doing that, because sometimes when you just sitting stagnant, mopey, That weighs on you. Plus, if you ever worked out, went to Planet Fitness, ever exercised, you feel good. Getting better, getting stronger helps your confidence, your motivation. Losing weight is better when you going up and down steps than carrying all that excess weight. Simple things like that. Looking better in your clothes is gonna build confidence. Not needing a 3X or 2X. But you know, looking snazzy in a 1. I don't think a grown man should go to like a large, or definitely not a medium, unless you know your metabolism is just through the roof or you a certain height. Then I get it. But love yourself enough to know when enough is enough. And you cannot always wait for someone else to tell you this message. Even though, you know, some people are lucky enough to where people have been telling them this, they're just not listening. Well, start listening. I was taught when I was younger, it's a reason why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Because you should be listening as twice as much as you talking. And, you know, let's do this. Let's prove people wrong that counted us out. You got the wrong calculator if you counted me out. You might need the Texas Instrument where you can make, bend lines and look for slopes. Y equals mx plus b. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. You know what we're doing. You know how this look when I'm doing this like this. You know what this means. This means God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. More will be revealed for you, by you, because of you. We pray for the addict who picked up for the first time today. We pray for the addict who put down for the last time today, and everyone in between. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you again. I'm trying to set my account up to where I can start going live. So maybe while I'm doing it, people could hit me up with a question if they catch it in time or whatever the case may be. It give us a new way to interact with one another. But God bless you guys. Love you. Keep your head up. Things will get brighter. Keep your head, ooh, child. And yeah, let's do it.